Welcome to Bring Her Back, the Identity and Confidence Masterclass. So glad that you could join me this evening. And I'm looking forward to really talking to you about something that will affect not only your business as you're getting started or at the initial parts of growing your business, but it will also affect your life. Because the more confident we are and the more we know who we are, the more successful we are at anything that we attempt to accomplish. So tonight we're going to talk about bring her back, bringing us back to that fierce, powerful, bold, amazing woman that we have been all of our life, but somehow have lost it on the way to 50 something. So what I want you to do is I want you to uh, turn off your phones or not deal with your email or be distracted so that you can get the most out of the class. And take notes. Use your workbook that you should have received and write notes as we're going through this training. Now, many of you have signed up for the replay. And so if you're on the replay, just follow along in your workbook. These are the topics that we're going to talk about. The I Am Identity Booster, which is a proprietary program that I invented a couple years ago when working with a lot of women who had lost track or who had just really not been able to get back to their identity. Somehow their identity had been lost. And so this helps us get back to really, truly knowing who we are and how do we identify ourselves. The second topic is we're going to learn how to eliminate negative self-talk and overcome that nasty little self-doubt. Thirdly, we're going to prioritize our personal time. This is important that you take time for yourself in the busy lives that we live. Part of confidence is about being tired and being totally unfocused and worn out because we are so busy achieving and accomplishing that we don't take that downtime time to rest and restore. So prioritizing that time is important in gaining confidence. And then finally, we're going to learn how to master the 7 habits of me, which is also a program that I developed in terms of building mindset, which is building your belief in who you are as well. A little bit about me. I'm Cheryl Garrison, and I am the founder and CEO of 50 Something Lifestyle, which is a resource for women over 50 who want to have the confidence to launch and start a successful business. Also, you want to be able to have the confidence to restore or reinvent your financial, personal, professional, and spiritual life. So what I did a few years ago, after going through some changes myself and getting into my 50s and finding that things were really moving very quickly and I just lost track of really who I was. I had experienced a major business failure. And I have to tell you, I was afraid to do anything. I was stuck. I call it stuck in cement. I didn't want to move because I felt that if I did, I would fail again. And so my confidence level and the whole uh, identity of who I was gone. I literally was just pretty empty. And there were 2 things that brought me to create 50 Something Lifestyle. One of them was my son, who walked in the room and saw me sitting and knew that this was the mom that he had seen build business and be an entrepreneur all of his life. And he said, "Gosh, Mom, you're done." And I knew I wasn't, but it hit me that maybe I am. And I didn't want to be. So I knew that I had to start doing some things to restore myself, restore my confidence, to be that person that I knew I was. I had just lost track of her. And so I started developing programs for women over 50 who I found to have some of the same thing, going through some of the same things I was going through. Many of them because of being downsized or being laid off from jobs that they had had for 20 years or more, and being laid off because their companies wanted to give the job to someone who would be cheaper to employ. And here they were in their 50 somethings and wondering, what am I going to do? Well, because I had been there and because I had all these years of the freedom and independence of being my own boss, I was led to be able to teach these women how to do the same, how to be their own boss, how to start their own business. But I knew it started with confidence, rebuilding that confidence. This is me speaking at a conference for women, and it was more of an informal confidence at a resort. And I am speaking here about confidence and being able to overcome all the obstacles that we are faced with on our way to 50 something. And I love this picture because it not only shows the confidence that I had gained and to get 50 something started, but this is also me after having gone through a health challenge that I thought was going to end my business. But I was able to overcome and able to have that high enough confidence to know that as soon as I was feeling better, I was getting back out there. And this is the first time I was speaking after experiencing those health challenges. So no matter what you're going through, whether it's your health, whether it's a business failing, whether it's a layoff or a downsize, empty nest, whatever you're going through, those things that just eat away at our confidence can be overcome. And that's what we're going to talk about on this master class. Let's talk about confidence. What is it? Confidence is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities and qualities. Self-confidence is about trusting yourself and your ability to succeed at new challenges, tasks, and opportunities. Self-confidence is the key entrepreneurial skill for success. If you want to be that business person, it's important that you have this self-confidence. It's easy to become demoralized, frustrated, and resentful if you lack self-confidence. It's easy to let the things that happen in the course of doing business derail you if you lack self-confidence. Self-confidence is concerned with how a person feels about his or her abilities. A successful entrepreneur believes in his or her abilities. So once we build our confidence, we know that our abilities go right hand in hand with that. So then why is self-confidence important? Let me go back to that slide. Why is self-confidence so important? If you are confident, people believe you. Confidence is attractive. You look good when you're confident. People see it. It brings you success. It helps you connect with others, and you generally feel happier. You can tell when a very confident person walks into a room. They're making eye contact. They're walking with their head high. There's a strut in their step. There's no doubt that this is a confident person. Now, let's not confuse confidence with being haughty or being arrogant. It's just really knowing that what you know is what you know, and that you feel good about it, and that you are really ready to share that with someone else. Confidence can help you take on the world with more energy and more determination. And that results in better relationships, better quality in the work that you do, and a feeling of being connected with your surroundings. Self-confident people usually can influence others more easily, as well as control their own emotions and behaviors more responsibly. So we're confident because when we are and we're out there telling people, trying to get people to see that we have the solution to their problem, they will trust us more and they will want us to be that solution. Whatever our products or our services are, they will want to be a part of it because they feel the confidence that we have about our own self. So we're going to start building on how to get this confidence back if it's lacking in your life or if you're just feeling like you need that little boost. And so we'll talk about the I Am Identity Booster. All confidence begins with who you are. And who you are begins with how you identify yourself. So what is identity? Identity is the qualities, beliefs, personality, looks, or expressions that make a person. And there are two parts to our identity. It's the social identity, which is how people outside of us view us. And it's the self-identity. It's how we see ourselves from the inside out. When you are looking at confidence, the more that you can build from within, the more confident. Because when we build from within, those are things that we can control. And we will talk about that in a little bit. So our social identity is really about things that people see and what we are. It's our job, it's our race, it's our gender, it's our age, our social economic status, our nationality. It's what people see externally. It's really what we are. And many of these things you can't control. You can't control your race or your age or your gender. However, you can control your response to those outside forces. And many of those forces, when they come to us and we think of age and we start to go, I'm too old, or I'm a woman, I can't, or I'm black, or I'm white, or I'm Hispanic, I can't, then you start to build your confidence on things that are outside influences. However, when you look at self-identity, it's really what are your base values? What are your characteristics internally? Are you caring? Are you giving? Are you smart? Are you strong? Are you bold? Are you peaceful? Are you calm? It's those things that are under your control. You can control your intelligence by just learning more. You can control your giving by giving more. You can control your caring by caring more. So the things that are self-identity, we can control, we can build on. And if we are lacking in self-confidence, building on those things that are part of our self-identity will help boost our identity and boost our confidence. I am. So the I am part of the identity booster is really about who are you? And who are you has two components, that external, which is our social identity, and the internal, which is our self-identity. People have spent millions and millions of dollars on counseling and psychiatry, attempting to get to the truth of who they are. But before we can improve who we are, we have to know our true identity. Most of us identify ourselves by what we do. Let's say someone comes up to you, oh, I'm so-and-so, and I am the director of this and that and this and that. And people look at them and say, okay, that really doesn't tell me anything about who you are, but it tells me about what you do. But most of us, that's really how we identify ourselves. And we perfect those roles, but we pay little attention to our passions and our purpose, which are really about who we are internally. That's what getting in touch with our identity externally and internally will do for us. It will help us to perfect both parts of that, but it's based on how we will perceive ourselves and how you perceive yourself. And the more that you feel good about who you are externally and internally, that will determine your confidence level. Now, I told you earlier when I was telling you my story about the business failure that I had, and my identity became failure, quote unquote failure. Everything I did, I walked around as a failure. You hear people say, well, I'm nothing but a failure. But failure is not part of who you are. It's an incident, it's an external thing that happened that doesn't define who you are internally. And once you get to that realization that those external things cannot define you, you are able to rebuild confidence and see failure for what it is. It is one time that something did not go right, and that the next time you do it, the possibilities of it going right are very high, which means that you are not a failure. It just means you failed once in that singular incident. Let's look at external identity, what you do. You know, like I'm a mom, I'm a grandma, I'm a dentist, I'm a cook. And so in your workbook, I want you to look at that section where you are writing, I am a. So I am a mother of 3 children. I am a wife. I am a business owner. I am a musician. I am a cook. I am a seamstress. I want you to write those down. I am a writer. You can do that now or you can do it later. But what you want to do is you want to write all those things that you are externally. When people see you in these roles, they know who you are based on that role. Good example is I am a church musician. I've been a musician at my church since I was 8. And when I think about that role, there are 2 things that come out of it. Well, yeah, there's some confidence that comes from knowing my skill as a pianist. But then on the other side of it, there's a negative that comes because after doing it so many years, I'm pretty much on rote. And there are times when I just really don't put a lot into it, and I walk away with my confidence being sort of lacking because I know I could have done better. So here are two things you do when you look at that's like your external identity. You want to list all the things that you are in terms of what you do. I want you to rate yourself on how are you doing at it? Because our confidence really is based on that. If we don't think we're doing such a great job at it, it can affect how we feel about ourselves. So how are you doing at it? So I want you to take some time for each of those in the next day or so and rate yourself. Like I said, as a musician, I would have to rate myself as not doing too well because I do know that I've done it so long that I probably don't give it as much as I should. But then the second part of that is how can I be better? How can you do better at it? Now, this is where you start to build your confidence. Even though these are external situations, you can create more confidence by changing how you're doing at it. So how can I be better at being a mother? How can I be better at being a business person? How can I be better at being a wife? How can I be better at being a writer? Or all those things that you do, how can you be better? And based on that, you can start making some changes in how you do at those external what you do's. Hope this is making sense. So in your workbook, I want you to write the I ams, the how are you doing at it, and then how can you be better at it. And it's also going to be true for those internal things. What are your base values? Like I said, are you in your internal characteristics? Are you intelligent, caring, bold, spiritual? Because in that, we can also do the same ratings. That if you're saying, I am very smart, well, how are you doing at it? I'm doing okay because I'm not really taking the time to learn more. So on the second, how can you be better at it? Then you can say, I can study more. I'm very caring. How are you doing that? Well, I'm not doing too well because I have people that I know need me, but I haven't been doing anything to care for them. How can you be better at it? I can do more caring. I can put myself out there more. And the more you look at that third column, whether it's internal or external, that's where you're going to build your confidence. That's where your identity changes because you have the ability to look at those things and make some changes. You can do daily things. You can say, okay, every day I'm going to do these things that are in this third column and I'm going to improve them. I'm going to create an image of myself based on the third column things. I'm going to visualize how my life looks as a more caring individual, how my life looks more as a more spiritual individual, how my life looks as a bolder individual. Another example, a person who considers themselves shy. They're going to put in that I am shy. Well, how are you doing that? I'm doing pretty well. I pretty much stay to myself and keep myself out of situations where I have to be the center of attention. So how can I be better at it? How can I improve on it? I can get out more. I can talk to more people. I can find the boldness to go out and be less introverted. And then based on that third column, I am an extrovert. I am a bold person. I am not shy. And that will help you to create a more confident identity of who you are. Now, take this seriously. Repeat it daily. Repeat that image, because one thing you should know about identity is that our brain cannot tell fantasy from reality. If we tell ourselves something over and over and over, whether it is negative or whether it is positive, we begin to believe it. So if you're telling yourself, I am lazy, I don't get things done, I don't this and I don't that, then you begin to believe it and you begin to project it to other people. So if you reverse that and you tell yourself, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am confident, I am bold, uh, I am rich in life with people around who surround me. All of those things, if you begin to tell yourself these things, you begin to believe it, because our subconscious brain cannot tell the difference between what we are fantasizing about and what is real. So if you're telling yourself something over and over and you want to really improve upon your identity, then column 3, tell yourself these things over and over, and you will begin to be those things. And you will boost your identity to being that person you know you want to be, and that you will be able to get out there and get that business going, because people want to hang around people that they trust, believe, and that they know will help solve the problems that they have. So that's enough on how to boost your identity. The next part of confidence is eliminating negative self-talk. We were just talking about how we tell ourselves stuff. Like, I really procrastinate so much, I never get anything done. Or, I this and I that. So what do you say about yourself? Take a minute and just before you think really about it, write down in your workbook, what do you think about yourself? Is it good? Is it bad? And then you want to look at, how do you overcome the negative things that we think about ourselves or we say about ourselves? How do you overcome negative self-talk? Because we all do it. And if you don't have a system for overcoming it, then you just continually bring yourself down, drag yourself down. And then the next thing you know, your confidence is flat and you can't really accomplish anything. So we're going to talk about how to overcome the negatives. I want you to write these down. Because they're really, really, if you master these things, you will begin to defeat those self-doubts, those self-things that you tell yourself. So you want to monitor your absolute thinking. What does that mean? Things that we say, like, I will never, It's always thinking and never thinking. That's absolute thinking. Like, I never finish my projects. I always fail when I start doing something. I this and I that. And it's anytime you use the words always or every time or no one or every time, those are those absolute thoughts that really are not factual, because nothing is always, nothing is never. We believe those things though. So if when you hear yourself say, oh, I never get to, monitor that. Let those words always, never, no one, everyone, every time, monitor your absolute thinking. And when you hear yourself saying it, dispel it, because that's negative self-talk. And if you become aware of it, and if you know that because we're going to say it, but what you do is the minute you say it, dispel it and say that is not true, because it is not based on anything factual. So every time you hear yourself saying, I never, or I always get things wrong, dispel them and reverse them. That most of the time I get things right. So dispel and monitor your absolute thinking. Secondly, you want to look for the positives. Most of us go around looking at things that are wrong. Look for the positives. Look for positive people. When you're online, go to motivational YouTubes. Stay away from the negative news reports. Have a time in the day that you're just filling yourself with positive things. Look for the positive. When you see something positive, resonate it and bring it into yourself. Stop predicting the worst. If I start this business, it is going to fail. Well, you've just predicted its failure. So stop predicting the worst. Predict positive things. Predict success. And then no more mind reading. What that means is that you're thinking, okay, she thinks that I don't know what I'm doing. He thinks I'm not smart enough to get this done. They think that my products don't work. You're mind reading. You don't know what other people are thinking. But we go around making assumptions about other people, and we're reading their minds, and we're not reading anything correctly. So just stop mind reading. Stop assuming what other people are thinking about you. And then finally, just say no. When I have those negative thoughts come, and we know they're coming. In our minds, we see them coming. We hear ourselves saying it, and I'll just say, no, get out, get away from me. I'm not thinking that right now. So when you hear that negative self-talk, just say no, not here, not today. And if you do these things, if we're monitoring our absolute thinking and being aware of never, every time, always, no one, everyone, and just dispel that thinking. If we look for the positives, if we stop making predictions that are worse and that are bad for us, stop reading people's minds and assuming that they're thinking negative things about what we're doing and who we are. And if we just say no, then you can overcome negative self-talk. The third part of building your confidence and bringing her back, bringing that confident person back, is to take the time for yourself, having that prioritizing personal time. Think about when we were in our 20s and our 30s and how it meant nothing for us to go hang out with our girls, you know, go to a party, go to a pool party, go do something that was personal and that was fun. And then we started having children. We got married. We started having children. We had these jobs, and all of a sudden, personal time became almost non-existent. So we're going to talk a little bit about how do you manage your time and how does it affect your confidence? Because if you're not rested, if you're not restored, it's so easy for all those things we talked about before, identity and negative self-talk, to have an effect on our confidence. So if we're restored, we have the energy that we need to fight off things that come at us. And I do a class called time blocking. We're not going to get into all of time blocking today because it's a whole course in itself. But time blocking is really looking at your whole day and blocking out that time. And the way you do that is you have to know those things that are expendable and those things that are necessary. And expendable things are when we're just always saying yes to something that we should probably be saying no to. And necessary are things that, there's a typo there, we'll fix it. But necessary is things like if you work, those are necessary hours. If you have a social, like if you're doing volunteer things or your kids, if you have something to do in relation to your family, those are necessary things. So you want to first on your, when you're looking at your time, you want to first account for the necessary. Like things like going to the gym, if you go every day, those are necessary things. And you want to look at those things that can be expendable and move them off of your daily schedule. And we're going to do a 24-hour priority challenge as part of this. Now, knowing that time blocking is another full course, what I want you to get out of this is that we all have 24 hours in a day. And what we do with those 24 hours is going to make the difference between our success versus someone else's success. If you look at very highly successful people, they know how to use those 24 hours. So that's why I'm going to have you take the 24-hour priority challenge in order to find that personal time for yourself. And so once you do these things, and you're going to use your own calendar, whatever kind of calendar you use, whether it's electronic or digital, or if you use a paper calendar, this is what I want you to do. Take a typical day or two in your schedule. I want you to identify your biggest priorities. And what I mean by that is those things that are necessary. So your priority is your job if you're working still. And if you got an 8 to 5, you're gonna pretty much block off the times, the morning. We all get breaks at work. So you're gonna account for your break, whether it's a lunch break or whether it's a little 15-minute break in the morning and the afternoon. I want you to leave those times open, lunch and breaks. But the other part of that, those are going to be priority items. Those are non-negotiable. Those are necessary. So I want you to make a list of your typical workday tasks. And for me, because I own my own business, then my tasks are related to running my business. So if you're right now not working and getting ready to start a business, think of some of those tasks that you would be doing based on the business that you want to start. And then I want you to make a list of your non-work activities. Things like going to the gym, if you're involved in church activities, if you're on a board or some kind, if you volunteer or work in your community in whatever way, those are non-work activities, but many of them can be necessary. And you're going to block those times on your calendar. You're going to mark them out because those are the non-negotiable times. And then you're going to put your priority items on the schedule first and doing your most productive time. And like, again, if it's work, you're going to put those down. Your lower priority items at the end of the day. If there's things that you have, if you're going to put on if every day, every Tuesday you do laundry or whatever, you're going to put those at the end of your day. And then you're going to look at the flexible or downtime, because we do have 24 hours in every day. And let's look at that 15-minute break and that other 15-minute break or that lunch break at work if you're working. Those are personal times where you can do something to restore yourself. Now, I don't know if you've heard of it's an app called Calm. It's I believe it's less than 15-minute meditation app that takes you through this meditation of music and a talk that helps to calm the stress and to relieve you and restore you. And it does what it says, it calms you. Just think about putting that or something very similar. Reading some, if you do the little daily readings. I can't think of it right now. But if you do those and you just read those during that time period, they restore. And you absolutely want to get the amount of rest at night. But when you have those times, do something that lifts your personal life, makes you feel good about who you are. So in your schedule, doing it on a daily basis, make sure you prioritize. Once you've gotten those non-negotiable or necessary tasks on your calendar, then you can see how much true time you have to do something for yourself, and then do it. Take a walk, take a drive, go to a movie, go to a concert, go shopping. Just do something, but do it intentionally. So take the 24-hour priority challenge and see where you can put some personal time and absolutely prioritize it within your schedule. And if you want to talk about how to really do true time blocking, that's something you can email me about and I can give you information on that. Now, the final part of confidence building is the 7 habits of me, which is about mindset. This is the program that I invented or that I created for helping you to restore mindset which is pretty much the same as restoring belief. So when you're looking at mindset, it's about what do you believe? And how does your mindset affect your confidence? Or how does your belief affect your confidence? And then how does changing mindset, quote unquote, belief affect your bottom line? Because when you think of this in terms of business, the more confident you are, the more you will be able to earn in your business. And it's going to affect your bottom line, not only monetarily, but also in just the quality of the life that you are going to live. So we're going to talk about what do you believe, and we're going to talk about those 7 habits, and they're going to all be related to our belief and how that belief affects our confidence, and how does changing our belief affect our bottom line. So these are the 7 habits of me, and you want to write these down. Start daily affirmations, and we'll talk about what affirmations are and how to do them. See failure as a chance to grow. Again, see failure as a chance to grow. When we fail at something, we are not a failure. We only failed that singular time. And generally from that, there's a lesson that's learned, and it's a chance for us to grow beyond that failure. See failure as a chance to grow. Hang around positive people. Kick out the naysayers. Kick out the people who tell you that you can't and you won't and you never have. You start to reduce the people around you when you find yourself going on this journey of being an entrepreneur. Because part of it, you are the 5 people you hang around with, they're going to have the most effect on what you become and how your life ends up. So you want to be careful about who you hang around with. Make sure they are positive people. I have eliminated all the negative people in my life. And sometimes that may be a family member. Create a positive environment. What that means is you want to create, if you have your home office, make sure it's a cheerful place. Put flowers in your office. Hang cheerful pictures. Make it bright. Make it exciting. Create a positive environment around you. If you work with, you like soft music playing, if that makes you feel good, or if you like energetic music, as long as the environment around you is positive. This one I love, help someone else. Take your mind off yourself. Greatest mindset boost is to see someone else in need and help them. The greatest mindset boost is to see someone in need and help them. So help someone who needs help. And then finally, be grateful. Be grateful for the life you have, for what you've been given. Because most of us have been given so much more than we deserve. And that gratitude, if you live a life of gratitude, then you will find that it will affect how you think about yourself and others around you. So I'm going to go through these one more time. And then we're going to get into detail on affirmations. We're going to start daily affirmations. Going to see failure as a chance to grow. Hang around positive people. Create a positive environment within our office, our home. We're going to help someone who needs help. And we're going to be grateful for all that we've been given. So this first part of the habit, having these habits that are going to affect your mindset, are to start writing daily affirmations. And so we'll talk about what they are and how to write them. I can tell you that affirmations totally changed my life. They were the difference between me being a 2,000 a year earner to being a 200,000 a year earner in business. So what are affirmations? Affirmations are positive statements that can help you to challenge and overcome self-sabotaging and negative thoughts. Remember negative self-talk? When you repeat them often and believe in them, you can start to make positive changes. Remember, we talked about the subconscious thinking, the subconscious mind. It cannot tell the difference between reality and fantasy. And affirmations are the direct thing that you use to change your mindset. If they are written correctly, and if you visit them daily and repeatedly. So we'll talk about writing some affirmations. Here's some rules. I'm going to go through just some general rules and then we'll come back to these. We want to write affirmations in present tense because we're assuring that our subconscious mind goes to work right away in achieving the desired affirmation. And we'll get into what those are. Secondly, just in general, we want to make them I am statements. And we'll get into what that means in terms of some examples. And we're going to avoid all negative words like not, never, can't, won't. Remember those words? We're going to avoid them. And we'll go through a few of the examples of what that looks like. And then we're going to keep them personal. And we're going to, they're going to be specific and precise. So let's go into a couple of these. So when you write your affirmations, you're going to start with the words I am. And the reason you're going to do that is because it gives you the guideline to make them positive. So I am happy. I am successful. I am wealthy. I am smart. If you write them saying I will or I'm going to, that places your affirmation so far in the future that the mind just won't accept it as something that you want to start working on right now. So if you write them in the present, that I am right now, what you're declaring, then your subconscious goes to work right away. Okay, she is, she is, she is. So a good example of a completed I am statement is like, I am happy and grateful for my wonderful new home. Right? You don't have you may not have that house, but you're affirming that you have a wonderful new home. Okay? I am wealthy and I am prosperous. Rather than I'm getting out of debt now, because you're focusing on the negative. So start with I am. I am surrounded by positive, supportive people who believe in me. Using the present tense of I am is going to make all the difference in your affirmations. Like I said, is if I am going to or I will be, that puts it in the future. So we're going to stay present tense, I am. And we're going to state it in the positive, rather focusing on I am getting out of debt, I am wealthy. So because if you're wealthy, you'll be able to get out of debt, right? So you also want to make your affirmations brief. You don't want them to go on and on because these are things you're going to read every day. So if you write it something, I am going to buy a brand new car. It's going to have, it's going to be blue. It's going to have, you know, let's see, gold wheels, spokes, and it's gonna get 800 miles a gallon gas mileage. It's all of that. It just gets confusing. You want to keep them brief, and you want them to be specific, and that you are. It's there's no doubt what you're claiming and what you wanted to what you're wanting to affirm. Like my affirmations when I wrote them in the beginning, because I was wanting to go from, I was a consultant and then I got into a business that required that I did retail sales because I was in interior design. And so I had the capacity to make a lot more money. And so I had to affirm that I earned 6 figures a year. I earn multiple 6 figures a year in my interior design business. It had to be very specific. So if you're writing your affirmations and you really want to see a jump, you can say, I earn $100,000 a year. If that is what you want to affirm, but you want it to be specific. I have 60 clients I work with on a monthly basis. So once you get out of the I am, you're getting specific about what you have. And then you want to include an action word ending with ing, right? Okay. And then you want to include at least one dynamic emotion. So I am happy living in my 4-bedroom home in Chandler, Arizona. I am elated with the 5 new clients that are in my business this month. So think about having that emotion that's involved. And then they have to be personal. They can't be about other people. I mean, you can make them about other people, but the ones that you want to work on, you want them to be personal, about yourself. I eat well, exercise regularly, and get plenty of rest to enjoy good health. That's for myself. Okay? Don't get caught up in the how, because just reciting affirmations over and over will go to work on your subconscious, and you'll find yourself doing the tasks that are going to get you to that thing that you've affirmed. So in your affirmation, you don't have to describe how. It's just what. Okay? So I want you to take some time this week writing your affirmations for what, if you're starting a new business, what do you want your business to look like? How much money do you want to earn in your business? How many people do you want to help in your business? What will people say about your business? So write those things and affirm what it's going to look like. Affirm what your life is going to look like on outside of your business. So I want you to write your affirmations, because the more affirmations you write, the more they will start to come into fruition, and the higher your confidence is going to be. So that part of mindset is changing your mindset, and the way to do it, like I said, is through your affirmations. So congratulations, she's back. If you do the things that we talked about today in this confidence building masterclass, you will find yourself being more confident. You will know who you are, because you now have that identity booster that tells you externally and internally who you are, and how you're going to look at that third column and go to work on improving that person. Secondly, you're going to overcome that negative self-talk that holds you back. Fourth, you're going to prioritize time for yourself and restore. And finally, you're going to take those 7 habits of mindset, and you're going to change your mindset. But the number one way to do that is going to be through writing your affirmations and reading them daily. I used to read my affirmations morning and night, every day. Morning, night, morning, night. I'd put them on my little sticky notes on my computer, and I'd read them. And I have earned millions of dollars doing this. I'll repeat, I've earned millions of dollars doing this by working at home. So follow the confidence boosting things we talked about, and you'll find that she's back even after 50 something, even after empty nest, even after 30 years on a job that you really didn't like, but you did it because you were good at it. Even after working in your community tirelessly and doing for all these other people, after raising children, after all of that, we got to bring her back. And you do things